Hey, in the following examples, what makes the ball move? What makes the ball stop? That's something for you to think about. All right, so I have this tennis ball. I'm going to roll it. Next, I'm going to toss it in the air and catch it. And lastly, I'm going to drop it and let it bounce and catch it. Think of all the things that you've pushed or pulled today.
Maybe you pushed open a door or pulled it closed. Maybe you turned on and off the faucet. Any push or pull on an object is called a force.
People or objects can apply forces to other people or objects.
This karate player's elbow hitting the blocks, the guitar player pushing the strings and picking the strings, and Eddie Rosario hitting a baseball with a bat are all examples of contact forces. A contact force is a push or pull on one object by another that is touching it. Dropping a piece of paper, the cat that's hair is being pulled up by a balloon by static electricity, and magnets moving together are examples of forces that are not caused by something that is touching. A non-contact force is a force that one object can apply to another object without touching it. Gravity, magnetism, and electricity are examples of non-contact forces.
Gravity is a force that exists between all things that have mass. Mass is the amount of material that makes up an object. We know about gravity because of Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton discovered the law of universal gravitation, which says that everything that has mass has a gravitational pull, and that gravitational pull depends on how much mass and how far away you are.
These objects are small, so they wouldn't pull very hard. Because one of these objects is bigger, there would be more pull. And because both of these objects are big, there'd be even more pull. These objects would have little pull because they are far apart. These objects would have more pull because they're closer. And these would have even more because they are closest. There is a difference between mass and weight.
Because mass is the amount of matter in an object, it is weighed with a balance and it never changes. Weight is measured with a scale because it's measuring the pull of gravity on that mass. Mass and gravity are proportional to each other, which means that when one goes up, the other goes up, and when one goes down, the other goes down. Okay, let's talk about another force, a contact force. What force stopped this ball? Friction is a force that resists the motion between two surfaces that are touching. Static friction exists between two touching surfaces that are not moving. And once the force overcomes static friction, sliding friction exists between two surfaces that slide past each other. A substance that can flow from one place to another like air or water is called a fluid. Friction exists between an object and a fluid. That's called fluid friction. Friction exists because of the tiny bumps that are on the surfaces of the objects that are moving past each other. Because friction can be an issue sometimes, one way to reduce friction is to use a lubricant to fill those little bumps. Another way to reduce friction is to reduce surface area, like changing the shape on this piece of paper. Okay, let's back up and recap. A force is any push or pull on an object. A contact force is a push or pull on an object by another object touching it. And a non-contact force is when an object will have a push or pull against it without touching. Gravity exists because objects have mass, and that mass and distance affect how much gravitational pull exists. And friction is a force that resists motion of two objects that are touching, even when it's in a fluid like water. Thank you for your patience and attention, and I'll see you soon.